Good evening, class. My name is Josh Houston, and I'm going to be talking to you a little bit about my capstone assignment, which I took critical case study 12.2, which talks about branding. And the whole chapter 12 talks about branding and how brands are created and how organizations use branding in order to communicate to the public through their brands and through the message of their brands. And so basically, what was discussed and what I kind of covered in my paper essentially is how branding works. And we see today that in our society, branding is everything. How they, the old saying, the image is everything. And it has become that today with the different social media platforms such as Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, and a host of others, which are designed to help the person or the consumer essentially present themselves, present an image to the world or society in a way that is positive, accentuates the positiveness of their lives, and overall, just being accepted in a sense. Some people may differ, may disagree with me with that, but you think about how and why you use Facebook. Some people use it to keep in touch with old friends, so on and so forth. But at the root of it, we all tend to post our best things about our lives on there because we want to be viewed in a certain way. And I think that is something that is a part of human nature, the idea of being accepted. And so organizations do the same thing. And what we find with branding from the organizational standpoint, you think about uh, brands like Starbucks, Pepsi Company, uh, Coca-Cola, McDonald's. These mega conglomerates, if you will, have mastered the art of being able to brand their products and to tie messages to those products so that whenever and wherever a person sees or hears that brand or views a commercial or whatever, um, they are able to easily identify with that brand. And so sometimes, though, brands can get out of hand. And what I mean by that is that in this critical case study, it talks about three different brands. It talks about Adidas, Nike, excuse me, and Abercrombie and Fitch. With regard to Adidas and Nike, they have in recent years. I mean, we all know that that brand is associated with sports. Okay, so you have Nike with "Just Do It" is their slogan, and so they've always been tied with the message about excellence and victory. With Nike, meaning victory, and these messages kind of just permeate with the brand, and so we know it when we see it. But in recent years, they have actually, in order to attach itself and try to reach a different demographic, they have kind of rebranded themselves with more streetwear apparel, which I think the book described it as gangster chic. And many of brands that have been associated with sports exclusively have now crossed over into that arena in order to reach a different demographic. But there was a situation that happened with Adidas, and what happened was is that if you can remember back to August of 2011. Many of you may have heard or have seen it, but there was a huge riot. Right, there was a lot of rioting going on in the United Kingdom, and what ended up happening though is that in one of the one of the looters and the rioters were actually wearing an Adidas sweatsuit, wearing Adidas apparel. And so when Adidas got wind of this and saw what had happened, they immediately went on a major public relations campaign to kind of uh, have damage control so that they can distance themselves from the negativity of what that person was doing. So they're rioting and looting, something that is a negative event. But as they were doing that, they were wearing the brand of Adidas, and Adidas, had went on record and said that we do not condone what they do, and so our brand does not identify with rioting and looting and violence and things of that nature. So they reinforced their message to preserve it. And that's one of the keys with organizations and with branding is that with their messages, they will go at any cost or any length to preserve their brand. And one of the other brands that was talked about in the case study was Abercrombie and Fitch. And there was a situation that happened with Mike, the situation. Excuse me, I have a cold. There was a issue with Mike, the situation. Many of you who watch Jersey Shore, you know him as the situation. I forgot his last name, but he has, he's been at the time he was in the media a lot via the show, and then even after the show, he would still make appearances and things of that nature. But he was always seen being drunk and carousing with women, and just it was just really bad image for him, and even his own brand. But at the time, he wore many of Abercrombie and Fitch's clothing. And so when there'd be photos taken of him, videos, and all the stuff like that, he was seen in those. And so once again, Abercrombie and Fitch actually uh, offered to pay the situation to stop wearing their brand uh, because it was presenting their brand in a negative light. And so, all that just to say that many organizations will do anything to preserve uh, their brand and their message and how that message is carried out. And so, in doing that, they add value to their brand, and so when people see a brand is valuable, they're more likely to support it or endorse it in any way, shape, or form. And so basically, that is the conclusion of my assignment and my video. And so I just want to say thank you, guys, for listening, and thank you for a great class. And hopefully I will get to see you again. Until then, have a good night. God bless.